Twitch has a naughty problem. What naughty problem would that be? There's been a lot of naughty problems on Twitch. I've had some naughty problems with Twitch very recently, so we're going to look at this video.
Video is very controversial and it's mature in nature. So obviously, you know, if there are any children watching, or if you're an adult and there's children in the room, this is obviously not a video they should be watching. Now, what we're going to go over, I actually thought a long time if I wanted to make this video, and I didn't realize like how much controversy is going on around this particular subject on sites like Reddit. I thought it was pretty cut and dry, but I guess Reddit. Not. And this video is not intended to be a witch hunt over any creators who are promoting this stuff. I'm not trying to cancel anyone. I know some people think I do that in my videos. It's more to create a conversation because there doesn't seem to be anyone currently.
I'm going to stop you right there. There's no such thing as having a conversation on the internet. You are pushing an agenda, always. That is what people think generally when you talk about anything, even if you're just talking about it because you find it interesting or you just think it needs to be talked about. Because obviously, whenever there's anything like this that involves content creators, some people like those content creators. And if you bring up a legit point about somebody or something that somebody else likes, they're just going to think you're trying to do it for some malicious reason, which is generally not the case for most rational people, but we're not particularly talking about the most rational people here most of the time. I'll say it.
Currently talking about this, aside from one channel, which we'll get into, there doesn't seem to be anyone currently talking about this on YouTube, and I feel like it's something that at the very least people should be talking about. Now, if you think it's completely fine, what we're going to go over in this video, that's fine. And I actually have a poll below. I'd appreciate if you watch the whole video before you actually cast your vote in that poll. But you can decide whether you think, hey, this is appropriate, I have no problem with this, or this is not something Twitch streamers and YouTube people should be promoting to their audience that has children watching. So specifically what we're talking about is a company, an adult entertainment company called Fansly.
Here we go.
Now, Fansly is a clone of another company called OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what OnlyFans is, but basically it's a website where creators can create adult content and then people could sign up and pay monthly fees to get...
You guys remember when OnlyFans tried to pivot to being not about adult content? And they were like emailing people like, do you want to come upload videos like gaming playthroughs on OnlyFans? Amazing.
Access to that adult content. Now, Fansly is heavily promoted across Twitch. It's been promoted for a long time. It's actually promoted some of the biggest events that have happened on Twitch, including the Streamer Awards, which happened last month. It's a big event. I think it has like 5 million views just on QT Cinderella's channel alone. She's the one that created it. I think it's the second year. And Fansly was one of the promoters, one of the sponsors of that event. Now,
I'm just going to give my take on this right off the bat. Basically, I don't care if content creators are sponsored by adult things and adult products. I've made this very clear by taking adult sponsorships myself because I'm an adult and most of my audience are adults, and I have a thing on all of my channels that you have to click that says, you know, I am part of a mature audience to be able to view my content in the first place. So I think there needs to be places on the internet where adults can be adults and talk about and advertise adult things, and that's perfectly fine. The problem is if there is no age gating or verification on these websites for people to view these things, and of course there's not going to be on very large Twitch streams and things like that because it's going to limit the amount of viewership that they get, that is where the problem lies. Not in adult things, because most of my audience, I think something like 97% of my audience are deemed by Google to be like over the age of like 19 in the first place, not even 18. I think the majority of my audience is between the age of like 25 and 34 or something like that. So I should be able to take adult products. So should anybody who has a similar audience, and that's perfectly fine. But Twitch has some weird double standards on a lot of things, and a lot of their rules just don't make a lot of sense. And a lot of their rules recently aren't even really being upheld all too much. So this is a problem.
Now, one thing I want to say is people have said, like, oh, you don't like sponsors. I have no problem with sponsors. Sponsors are okay. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is specifically, an adult entertainment website sponsoring an event that for sure has a bunch of children watching it, right?
Yeah, because obviously it's an event with all the biggest creators there. It's basically the Oscars of streaming, right, on Twitch. It's got all the biggest content creators there. And we know that some of the biggest content creators, the reason that they're so big is that a lot of their audience are younger people. So the fact that this is like the context matters, definitely.
Now, in this event, they specifically talk about the sponsor Fansly, and they actually have links directly from Twitch to Fansly. Now,
this is not allowed on Twitch, as far as I'm aware, like in any other context. So I believe there's some kind of double standard here, because if you remember, if you're a heavy Twitch user, if you go on Twitch, nobody who has an adult link can have it directly on Twitch. They simply have a layer of abstraction. So they used to be able to do this, and then people started getting banned, but now they just have like a link that says all my links, or they'll even say like, click here for my spicy content. It's so in your face obvious that they've basically been told you can do it, just not with a direct link. So make them click one extra link that again has no age verification the majority of the time. It's just corporate fucking nonsense. Like, Twitch needs to either shit or get off the pot on these decisions. Either you allow it to be advertised or you don't. But the fact that this event directly linked to it, I don't even know how that's allowed. I don't know how that's allowed.
What gets even worse than this is that Fansly has some sort of error with their system where you can, and I'll show you on the screen if you don't believe me, you can create a Twitch account and you can tell Twitch that you are underage, you can tell Twitch that you are 13 years old, and then you can link directly to Fansly, and Fansly will allow you to log in with your underage Twitch account. And
wait, what? So QT's got a Fansly link on her fucking Twitch profile then? That's pretty wild. That's pretty I thought you couldn't do this. I thought this wasn't allowed.
Instantly get access to adult content. Now, to me, that seems incredibly inappropriate, but some people...
The thing is with stuff like this, the minute this gets into mainstream media, Twitch is fucked. Like, this was one of the reasons why they like took a stance on the gambling and stuff as well. The minute politicians or like mainstream journalists or whatever that already have a hard on at times when, you know, when it's a tough week or whatever and something's going on and they want to detract from the fucking hellscape of corporate America or whatever, what they'll do is they'll turn around and go, what about the gamers? What have the gamers been doing? And if they know that one of the biggest platforms for gamers and for this demographic have a company run by Amazon that's essentially giving access to underage people to pornography, like at the click of a button, with you being able to do it as an underage account without any form of verification on Twitch, and then it literally having streamers linking to it. Twitch gets murdered over this. Like, we already saw what happened with YouTube ages ago with like the adpocalypse. Like, what happens to Twitch, which already doesn't make money? So they need to do something about this. This is frankly fucking insane that nobody's looked into this and done anything to this point.
Have a problem with that. Now, not many people are talking about this on YouTube. However, on other sites like Reddit, a lot of people are currently having a conversation about this. And some people seem to think that it's okay. I don't agree with that. But one of the opinions I seem to hear a lot is that because minors, specifically, you know, teenage boys, are going to be seeking out this adult content anyway, it's not really an issue for streamers to get paid by adult content and promote that adult content to their audience that undoubtedly has a bunch of children watching. That's completely...
This is the worst argument you could possibly make. What kind of fucking adult is making an argument like that? They're going to do it anyway, so as the responsible adults in the room, let's just promote it to them anyway for money. What a fantastic idea. Good point. You're right.
Completely fine. Now, I disagree with that statement 100%. In my opinion, if a minor is seeking out that content, and they shouldn't be, but if they're seeking out their content on their own, that's vastly different than a streamer, someone these people look up to, an adult, getting paid to promote that content to them. In my opinion, those are two very different things, and I think it's incredibly inappropriate that that's happening. Now, one thing I want to bring up before we go into a deeper dive about Fansly and this whole issue is the fact that some people are going to be like, oh, you're just getting on your high horse, you're trying to take everybody down. And I want to point out that just 6 months ago, everyone on YouTube was talking about the gambling issue that was a huge problem on Twitch at the time. 6 months ago, there were big gambling streams, and they were saying that this was promoting addiction, right? And they were actually saying that many of these gambling games were designed to get children involved into gambling and get them addicted to gambling as well.
Oh no, Trainwreck's TV is going to have all the fucking points here, because he was one of the people that were saying, oh, you know, there's a double standard on all of this. Well, this is evidence that he's not entirely wrong. Twitch does have a double standard on this.
well. And there was this big push 6 months ago to get gambling streams kicked off of Twitch. And Twitch actually, they did the right thing. And they banned most gambling on their website.
Yeah.
And many of the big content creators on YouTube, Copyzilla, Some Ordinary Gamers, Voice Critical, made videos saying, this is a good thing. We're getting gambling kicked off of Twitch. And I agree with that. That was a good thing. But now it seems like there is nobody, at least on YouTube, there's nobody talking about how an adult entertainment website...
I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know this shit existed. Obviously, my opinion doesn't mean fuck all. This is a small React, low-effort channel. My big channel doesn't talk about shit like this generally, and I don't have enough pull on either channel combined to ever change anything about this. Interesting topic. I do want to signal boost it, obviously, but this, I believe, has just been talked about by Charlie as well. I think Moist Critical's made a video about this, and I'm sure other people will, because I'm sure most people just didn't know about this. I had no idea, and I use Twitch on an almost daily basis, though I don't follow any of the big streamers typically. I've watched Summit sometimes, watch Asmongold sometimes, but I mostly watch esports stuff, so I'm not really in the sphere of knowing about this.
Is sponsoring some of the biggest Twitch streamers and biggest Twitch stream events and allows children to access their adult content with no age verification whatsoever. You can go directly to their website and get previews to all of the adult content for free once you just sign in with your Twitch account on Fansly. And I think that's really inappropriate. And I find it crazy that no one is talking about that. I
guarantee regulators, legislators, politicians, mainstream news would all find this incredibly interesting and inappropriate. So I think Twitch definitely needs to sort their shit out.
I don't understand. Does this seem like something that people should be talking about? I don't understand why this isn't a bigger issue. Now, there is actually one creator who did talk about this. Her name is Moo Kitty. I'll have a link to her video. She actually was the one who talked about this first about a week ago. And what's really interesting is right after she called out these creators who were promoting Fansly, her entire channel got demonetized within days of making that video. Now, herself and many people who support her...
Oh, no. Why am I doing this? Why did this... Please explain why. There's a logical reason for this. Why the fuck did this happen?
Think that this is some sort of retaliation for making this video, calling these people out, that now her entire channel is demonetized. I don't know if that's true. In the email...
Oh, that's the last thing that I want in my life at the moment. Fucking hell.
That she shows, it shows that her channel was demonetized for reusing content, and she does reuse a lot of content on her channel, but I do find it really interesting that she's been making the same content for over 5 months now, and it's only right after she releases basically this piece exposing what's going on that her entire channel gets demonetized. I find that to be incredibly interesting and, a massive
very convenient.
Now, to give a little bit more detail, like I said, the company that's being promoted all over Twitch is Fansly. They were a big promoter of the event, the Streamer Awards. Now, in the Streamer Awards, what's really interesting, QT Cinderella, who created the event, she was actually making jokes about how another company, Kick, which is a rival to Twitch, wanted to sponsor the Streamer Awards, and she made a joke about not allowing them to sponsor the event because she wasn't going to be showing porn in the event. But then just a few minutes...
Amazing self-awareness there. Absolutely fantastic.
Minutes later, she does an ad read for Fansly, which does act...
I mean, to be fair, just to be, consistent on this, they're two different things again still. Doing an ad read for something that somebody has to go to and to sign up for, that presumably, I would have to imagine most rational people would think Fansly have some kind of age verification. That would just make sense in my brain. So I'm not going to, jump on it's incredibly bad on her part. And people on Twitch can't show on Twitch actual pornography, whereas people on Kick have been doing. And I've gone on some Kick streams, man, and people are doing some wild shit on there. They're doing some wild shit. So yeah, these are two different things again, just like the looking for it, advertising to kids thing. They are two different things.
Actually have adult content that they are promoting.
Speaking of platform changes, this year Kick.com was announced. They actually wanted to sponsor this event, but then they backed out when I told them I wasn't showing any porn.
It's just an easy W, right? It's just a funny, easy meme.
A few moments later.
That video was amazing. I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Fansly, for sponsoring the Streamer Awards. Make sure you follow the Fansly account for exclusive behind-the-scenes content and get a free trial of their top creators only at fansly.com/the Streamer Awards.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate my opinion on this. I think there's a couple ways to look at this, and one of the ways is they're adults. A lot of adults use Twitch. A lot of adults give money to Twitch streamers. A lot of adults use, Fansly, OnlyFans, whatever it's going to be. You should be able to promote adult products as an adult, but only if you have some kind of if you're checking the fucking buttons that say kids can't watch this, and then the website is also responsible enough to have some form of verification so kids can't watch this. They're the conditions that you need. Otherwise, you are basically just turning a blind eye and saying, I hope that they're doing this and I'm going to promote it anyway, even if they're not, even if I know that they're not doing it, which is, of course, very easy to do for anybody. And I think most people aren't going to turn down a big wad of money. And especially because Twitch streamers are very, it's a big group. They're all together, right? So if one person's doing stuff, you're going to really come out against your friend and their friends and all of them together, and the power dynamic of Twitch of going against that grain and against all these big streamers that control 95% of viewership in total on the platform. It just seems like a fucking shit idea, right, to even do. Unless you're one of these fucking outcasts that gets views and stuff and doesn't really need these friends and these powerful allies or whatever, and doesn't want to go to any of these awards or network with any of these people. And on the other side, people are obviously going to say, if Twitch is an irresponsible platform that allows shit like this to happen consistently, which provably they are, you shouldn't be promoting anything like this on Twitch, full stop. And I could go either way between them. I personally would want to promote adult things if I could without getting banned on YouTube and Twitch, which it's not even feasible to do because YouTube will just demonetize you and Twitch probably will ban you for at least most people. Because I believe that having websites for adults to use by adults that are using it are perfectly normal and reasonable. But again, if you can guarantee a lot of the audience is going to be kids, then you just can't be doing that. It's common sense. Maybe it's not entirely on you that the platform allows this stuff, but it is on you that you are choosing to promote that, knowing that that is the case, I guess is a succinct way to put it.
Now, it's not just the streamer awards that Fansly has been sponsoring. They've been sponsoring many events that I'm sure have a bunch of children watching as well. They sponsored Ludwig's boxing match a few months ago, and then they also sponsored XQC's Juicer game show that he launched a while back as well.
Hello, I made it, boys. What's up? Hello, welcome to Juiced, presented by Fansly. Yeah, I made it. I mean, what can I say? It was a little bit disorganized.
To the Mogul Chess Boxing Championship, presented by Fansly.
So Fansly has been a heavy promoter on both Twitch and YouTube over the past year and a half or so. And it's crazy just that it's okay that you can, promote this content. And it's one...
I'm also going to say as well, here you go, look, you just go, I'm on a signed out account. I don't have to verify anything as far as I'm aware. And this is one of the streams... This is one of the streams that you can just find without being signed into an account whatsoever. Obviously, what Twitch was saying was, you can't be in a bikini. This is the rules game of Twitch. And just for the record, I don't hate women. I love women, and I love looking at women, and I'm right there with some other people. I have nothing against this. I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. And if I could make as much money as some of these lovely ladies make doing what they're doing by just being half naked on camera and just talking to nerds that throw money at their screen, I would absolutely do that. I unfortunately can't. It is what it is. So I just have to react to videos and talk nonsense on a webcam, and hopefully some of you fucking nerds watch and I get ad revenue, or subscribe to Patreon, something like that. Or you could come to my Twitch and give me money instead. But obviously what Twitch said was, sexual content. What is sexual content? And they said, we'll ban you if you're in your living room in a bikini. But, good timing for that word, but we won't ban you if you're, in a hot tub just relaxing, or you're, at the beach or something in a bikini. Now, I've been to lots of beaches in my life. Never have I seen this as a bikini. So how people started getting around these rules, go to Walmart and buy a paddling pool, or a ball pool or whatever, and just put it in your living room and then just put like 2 inches of water in it, and then you can just be in a bikini just like bending over, and you'll have a board behind you, and you'll write on it when people give you money, or you'll do yoga or whatever right in front of it, or whatever it's going to be. You'll dance, maybe you'll do these things that any person who has, you know, a working rational brain would know. They're just gaming the system, and they're doing it because Twitch is so slow to move and so inconsistent with like how they uphold policy that they can do. Now, again, for the record, I don't give a fuck if Twitch allows this, because it's not my platform of use. It should be on them to decide what their website has. But I do think when they say, oh, this is not sexual content, I do think that anybody would see stuff like that and know that it is. And the fact that whenever a new rule is set, people basically push the line as much as they can till they find where they can basically, they're on it. We all remember, if you use Twitch, like the dick-sucking meta, where basically people were getting these really expensive microphones and they were putting the mic right in front of their face with like a 4K high-def camera right in front of them. One of the ones with the ears where they're doing like ASMR, and they were just like on the thing while making direct eye contact with the camera the whole time. And everybody knows what that was. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know exactly why they were doing that. And disclaimer again, I don't care. I actually would love if Twitch had a section where if you age verified, you just went in and you got to see women, you know, playing Grand Theft Auto with, you know, totally naked. I don't care. I'm an adult. That's cool. And if people can make money from doing that, fucking fantastic. But if kids can access this shit, which is, you can see I'm not even logged in and I can, this is even not the worst setup you'll usually see on Twitch. Sometimes they have a mirror dedicated in the back so that when they're stood facing you, you can literally see the backside as well. And everybody knows what's going on here. But because she stood in a couple of inches of water, she's okay. And I think it just goes to show that there's a lot of inconsistency with how Twitch see things and how most people just realistically see things. And that's my rant over. We've derailed this video. This is going to be a long one. I'm sorry.
One thing, like if this was specifically targeted to an all-adult audience, but it's very clear that a large, or at least a decent portion of these audiences that are watching are children. And I think the main issue is that they don't have any sort of age verification. What I showed you with the Twitch feature, you can log directly in with an underage account and get access to adult entertainment.
That's the worst part of this.
That seems inappropriate.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to point out is if you want to say like, oh, you know, this isn't a big deal, no one needs to talk about this, there are creators like Hasanabi and Moist Critical who actually made big portions of videos talking about another creator by the name of Aiden Ross. And I'm not a fan of Aiden Ross, but Aiden Ross actually showed porn on his stream on another account. It wasn't Twitch. It was he streams on Kick.
Yeah.
And he actually showed porn to his audience, and there were children watching that stream. Now, both Moist Critical and Hasanabi made videos calling the guy out, saying that this was an incredibly inappropriate thing to do, and potentially he could actually go to jail for this.
While streaming, Aiden Ross decided to go to Pornhub, I guess to make a point about how you can do anything on the site, and he just he showed porn.
For the record, by the way, Aiden Ross can do anything on Kick, because what can he do? He's been literally saying like trans people should get killed and things like that. And Trainwreck is saying like you need to stop doing that and like temp banning him for things, and he will just continue, and he's just like, no, I'll just keep doing it. Because what are they going to do? Are they going to ban Aiden Ross, someone they paid tens of millions of dollars to stream exclusively on their platform, and whose audience is basically the majority of like the people that they want on their platform to, you know, funnel into gambling and, you know, use the crypto slots that's funding the website?
To his audience, and keep in mind, a lot of his audience is very young. They're minors, they're actual children. But everyone knows Aiden Ross viewers are skewed very, very young. So it's still a very fucking creepy and weird thing to do, especially with that audience and on stream.
Now, I've not watched Charlie's video on this. I assume that's what his video was, that's titled Hypocrisy. Maybe I'll check it out later. But I'm going to guess he's logically consistent on this and says the same thing about this Fansly thing. I'm going to guess. I'll be disappointed if he's not. But obviously there are a little bit of nuanced differences here to pulling up literal Pornhub on your screen, showing the explicit images and linking to something which, again, a lot of people would probably assume there's some kind of age verification there, and therefore it's a little bit less bad. Still bad, but a little bit less bad.
Posted porn on. He looked at porn on purpose.
He did. Yeah.
I don't support it, bro.
He was like asking people, what do you want to watch? Yeah. I watch this shit. It's just pathetic.
What?
Now, both of those creators, as well as pretty much every other large creator, hasn't really had any reaction or said anything about Fansly, sponsoring all of these events. They're quick to, call out the guy they don't like, Aiden Ross. But when, their friends Ludwig and QT Cinderella get sponsored by Fansly, they don't say anything. And I understand, like, actually showing porn like what Aiden Ross did is much worse than just being sponsored by an adult website that allows kids to access the content. I understand that that's different.
The problem is that second part is like doing a lot of heavy lifting on how bad this is. Again, like a lot of content creators are probably just going to assume. I don't want to live in a world whereby me as an adult cannot ever talk about or be sponsored or use products that are focused for adults just because kids might be watching. It shouldn't be on me to make sure kids are not watching my content. It should be on the platform. Unless I am making content for kids, which, again, if a lot of these bigger creators kind of do because they need those kids in the audience because that's a large portion of people who use Twitch. So it matters what kind of creator you are and who you are. But like with Critical Charlie's videos, like with sex toys and being sponsored by sex toy websites and stuff, I think the majority of his audience are probably adults, and he should be able to do that on YouTube because YouTube should have a place for adults to express themselves and show products that adults use. Like, I think that's totally normal. And I do think a lot of this rests on the platform, but there is a conversation to be had here about these specific things and about which creators have which audience, etc., etc.
But at the very least, people should be talking about this, and no one seems to be doing it. Now, Moist Critical actually was watching the Streamer Awards, and when the ad for Fansly actually came up during the Streamer Awards, you can see he actually lets out a little laugh, and it seems like he's at least somewhat uncomfortable that this type of content was being promoted during the Streamer Awards.
For exclusive behind-the-scenes content and a free trial of some of our hottest creators. On top of that, sign in using your Twitch account and see which of your favorite streamers are already creating adult content on Fansly. Fansly has a whole algorithm dedicated to discovering new content.
Wait, this was the ad that run? If there's no verification on watching this, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Content and creators through the Fansly For You feature. Swipe and discover today at fansly.com.
Now, I don't want to put any words in his mouth. I don't know if he actually thought that was inappropriate, but aside from that clip of him, viewing that, he hasn't said anything about this whole situation at all. In fact, the only streamer that has made any acknowledgement so far is Asmongold. Asmongold is a big streamer.
Based. What's Asmongold's take going to be? Let's see.
He actually watched Moo Kitty's video covering this whole subject, and he actually said he thought it was inappropriate that it was sponsored as well.
After a Mario Kart ad for kids, not a single word is spoken.
That video I'd turn that off immediately.
I think that she's right about this. I think that both of them are advertising pornography and
it's very rare. Like, I know a lot of people on my channel for some reason really dislike Asmongold. It's very rare, at least on like the adult topic and stuff like that, like I ever disagree with Asmongold. I've disagreed with some of his gaming opinions, specifically like the Wolong game. I've disagreed with that a little bit, but I find that usually if I have an opinion about something, then I look up his opinion on it. I mostly agree. This is, I believe, what most level-headed adults would think about this. It is inappropriate. It just is.
Explicit content for kids. I think that she is right. I think that there is a spectrum, and showing the porn directly is worse. But you cannot tell me that advertising Fansly and then giving examples of streamers.
Yeah, that's also the worst part with the fucking thing. Yeah. Advertising the specific people showing it on screen, that is also worse.
That produce explicit content on Fansly. I know that they produce explicit content on Fansly. They are the ones that are up on the screen. How are you not going to say that's not promoting it?
How does Twitch allow Fansly ads?
I don't know. I find this to be a question. I don't think Fansly's a big deal. I don't give a fuck about it. But the truth is that how are you going to disallow certain streamers to promote their Fansly, but other different people that are being sponsored by Fansly, the company, that's okay?
This is exactly what I said. This is exactly what I said at the start with the OnlyFans thing with the links. Now you've got to have, like, you can't link directly to OnlyFans. You've got to link to all my links, and then that links to OnlyFans. Like, how are you going to allow direct links to Fansly, the platform, but not to direct people? Is that another just like rule lawyering of like, but they didn't specifically say you can't be sponsored, they just specifically said you can't have a link to your own thing? Because we all know that that's how people do this shit. They, like I say, they get to the line, they see the line, and they're like, oh, can I tiptoe over this a little bit? Can I get you on a technicality? They have people go through the fucking rules and figure this shit out.
How does this make any sense?
Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, obviously this is a controversial topic. Like I said, there's some people who don't think this is a big deal. I do. But I do find it interesting that there was such a hoopla, there was such a big deal about all the gambling issues on Twitch just 6 months ago.
Not
but
wrong.
no one wants to seem to talk about what's going on right now with an adult website that can, you know, freely put their content, they can freely advertise on Twitch. Now, Twitch actually has guidelines, from what I can see, that deny you to link directly to adult websites. I'll give you an example. Amarath, she's one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, and she used to link her OnlyFans directly on Twitch, but Twitch doesn't allow that anymore. So she does a cheeky way of where she will actually link to a link tree, and then if you click on the link tree, then you can click.
Yeah, link tree, all my links, same shit. It's like a variant of which one they use.
Click a link to her OnlyFans. So that's kind of a cheeky way that some people are kind of getting around the issue of not linking directly to adult websites. Yet on the actual Streamer Awards, there is a link directly to Fansly from the Streamer Awards page. So I don't know if that's technically breaking any Twitch rules.
It should be.
But
logically,
that is available
consistently,
for
it should
people
be.
to do. And I don't know if that's necessarily appropriate. Now, I do want to mention that I actually reached out to XQC, QT Cinderella, and Ludwig, the people that I talked about. I reached out to all of them because I wanted to give them the option of telling their story and, you know, giving a comment about what they think about, you know, them being sponsored by an adult company that's promoting content to their audience that probably has a bunch of children watching. I reached out to all of them on Twitter. None of them responded. All three of them haven't responded at the time of filming this video. But one thing that did happen was XQC actually talked about in a stream, he briefly talked about how his event, the Juicer game show that he ran, he said that he did not know that Fansly was going to be sponsoring the event. He said,
how the fuck is that, one, an excuse, and two, how unorganized are you that the main title sponsor that you thank when you open the show, you just didn't know they were sponsoring the show? How would you not know that? It's literally named after you and your community, the Juicer. Like, that's the XQC community thing. His community called the Juicers.
He said that Ludwig added Fansly as a sponsor at the last minute.
In my defense, I listen. I'm not gonna shit on Lud in my own show. I had generally zero knowledge of Fansly being a sponsor. Nor did I sign anything with Fansly. Nor did I ever see a singular dollar from Fansly. None of it, zero. I ever had knowledge of it prior or signed for. Yep, sorry. That's just, I'm gonna fuck it. If I am lying, I give a verbal consent on the internet right now, on this date, on the 3/27/2023, to out me as a liar and to show a signature of mine and show a contract of mine or show any knowledge whatsoever prior to the sponsor. Before I got there, and we actually did it. I give consent.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's going to be people with difference of opinions on whether this is acceptable or not. Again, this wasn't designed to be a witch hunt of a video. I've been thinking about this video for quite some time, and basically I just made the video so I wouldn't think about it anymore. Just, you know, put the video out there. People can, you know, create their own opinions on whether they think this is okay or not. And again, the poll is below if you want to voice your opinion on that. But after what happened with Moo Kitty, and again, I'll have a link to her video, after her channel got demonetized right after she talked about this, and no one else was talking about this, I felt, you know, someone needs to have a conversation about what is actually happening.
Is the shit
Now,
still
like I said,
demonetized?
if you think it's appropriate,
take a look.
that's completely fine. I'm not trying to say your opinion is wrong. I'd love to hear your opinion below. But just my personal opinion, if...
I'm going to say it. In the context of there's no age gating, you are wrong. Like, I'm just going to say that one. I don't give a fuck. You can have, like, nuanced takes or opinions on, like, whether adults should be able to do things on their own platform and whether the audience is adults and things, and whose fault it is that the websites don't verify these things, and if you know that, should you be doing that? Like, we can have these discussions, but in terms of the overall context of we know now that, like, literal children can just click this and have access to all this stuff immediately that's being advertised to them by people who are, like, their literal heroes in some cases, like people that they really look up to. I think that's just wrong on Twitch's behalf, on Fansly's behalf, and on the creator's behalf. It's just how much of the responsibility falls into each different part, I guess.
If there was so much effort to get gambling off of Twitch, like, why is there no effort to get adult content, to get an actual company that's...
And again, with gambling as well, I think that is the same thing for me with, like, adult content. As an adult, I should be able to gamble if I want to on a stream. I think you should be able to. I think I should be able to drink. I should be able to smoke weed. I think I should be able to, gamble. I think I should be able to do things that adults do because we're adults. And if my audience is adults, that should be okay. I don't think site-wide bans of anything is ever good unless it's something that's just harmful, that doesn't represent what people generally do in society. And most of the time the reason that things get banned is not for, like, morality, it's because it hurts the bottom line, because Twitch don't want to be seen as a company that's promoting gambling to kids or promoting sex work or adult things to children, which is a large user base of their platform. They don't want to run into those problems, and advertisers don't want to advertise on platforms that have those issues. It's why, again, the ad apocalypse happened on YouTube. With that being said, again, repeat myself, with kids, that it's prevalent on the platform and they're not policing it. This is a conversation that needs to be had.
Promoting this stuff to their fans that, children can access without age verification. Why is there no one talking about why this is not okay? Like, I honestly don't know. I would really love to know in the comments why the gambling issue was such a big deal and this is not. So there you go.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
That's my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this okay, or is this something that needs to stop?
Yeah, good video. I agree. And this is Critical's video. I'm not going to watch the whole 12-minute thing on stream now. Is
this video?
Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god, that was oh my god. What? Please, bro. My channel might get deleted. I'm back. Okay, so it's all fine. But holy shit, I will never ever click your videos ever again. Do I cut it out the video, or do I subject all of you, the couple thousand that will make it to this stage of the video? Actually, fuck you. You're getting it as well. If I had to experience that, you have to experience it. Share the load. Share. Alright, that's enough. I'm done. See you later. Peace.